In the video on designing animal characters, I briefly introduced Art Giraffe. Let's talk about his origins and how I developed the concept through several artworks. Most of my artistic journey has been in black and white, but I'd collected a number of coloured inks in Japan. While thinking of how to use them, I considered one of my earliest influences, the British illustrator Quentin Blake. His technique is to draw in black ink and colour with washes of watercolour. I think this experiment in coloured ink worked well. My next attempt was this simple drawing of a giraffe sketching in a book. The image was based on a photo a friend took of me while we were out sketching. I called the character Art Giraffe, and I imagined him in a world with other artistic animals. One of the first ideas was a mole called Marcel Duchamp. You can see Marcel and Art Giraffe together here, and I was obviously still trying that loose Quentin Blake sketch and colour style. It occurred to me that Art Giraffe might travel to meet his friends, and so the next idea was riding a bike along the banks of the Seine. You can see this picture is a little more refined, with a bit more attention paid to the textures and environment. But I wasn't entirely sure that I'd captured something uniquely Parisian. The next attempt was to feature a truly iconic landmark. So Art Giraffe and his friends are painting directly in front of the Leaning Tower of Pisa. The style is back to being a bit looser in this one. I remember being happy with the colours, but perhaps wishing I'd gotten the leaning angles of the characters a little stronger. The idea of iconic landmarks continued with a heavily researched picture of St. Basil's Cathedral in Moscow. You'll also notice our friend Marcel Duchamp the mole is back. If you look at Marcel's hat and Art Giraffe's coat, you can see I was starting to get a feel for using layers of the transparent ink to build up soft textures. This would come to be important later. I returned to a simple image of Art Giraffe with my friend Alan as a mongoose. It's still in a similar style to that original drawing of Art Giraffe, but I think you can see how I was settling into a more standardized version of the character. This next image was the last step in the old concept and the first step towards a new one. As you can see, Art Giraffe is reading a book in a very familiar room. I put him in Vincent van Gogh's famous bedroom at Arles as a kind of whimsical notion. Maybe Vincent has just stepped out of the picture and we're waiting for him to come home. But you can see that I had gone from real locations and animal characters to Art Giraffe inhabiting the work of another artist completely. Something had changed and there was no going back. In part 2, I'll show you what happened next and how I learnt to paint by copying famous artworks from history. You're watching Studio Brushpen.